Hey guys, how you doing? Today we'll be presenting requirements in Agile development. My name is Bhojwani. I'm joined with Pavani and Morgan. As you know, guys, Agile is a cornerstone in the software engineering, and it's really important. There's so many challenges to it. There's so many emerging solutions, and we're going to be presenting that today. So let's start with an overview. We'll start with an introduction to the Agile development and like its key characteristics, and then we'll focus on like research and like on questions, and then we're gonna explore like the agile requirements, specifically on like teams, tools, and then I believe we're gonna start discussing uh, more like traditional models and the gaps, and then finally, guys, we're doing emerging solutions, recommendation, and conclusion, and what we can do best in the future, which is really exciting. Um, yeah, so so as you guys know, agile development is centered on flexibility, iterative processes, and a continuous cycle of shareholders collaborations, making it highly effective in adapting to rapidly ch like ch challenges and stuff. Unlike traditional models, agile thrives on abilities to accommodate evolving requirements and deliver incremental value throughout the development lifecycle. However, this dynamic also like presents significant challenges. Like managing requirements in agile is complex due to its shifting nature, and um, I think these challenges can be like scope and risk are like scope creep, resource misallocation, fragmented goals, as you guys can see. And in our research, what we're doing is we are unrelieving these challenges to understand better the root cause. And we aim to, and what we do is we will explore like emerging trends and best practices, leveraging a structured literature review to identify strategies that can improve agile requirements management. So we want to start with like an introduction. As you guys can see, there's two features of agile. One is iterative and flexible processes, and then one is focused on stakeholder collaboration and feedback. The other thing is comparison to traditional models. Agile is dynamic and iterative, and there's linear and upfront planning. One of the core challenges is managing evolving requirements and balancing responsive stabilities. These are very exciting things, and we're ready to explore. Thank you.
So our research explores three core questions. The first question is, how can Agile teams effectively manage evolving requirements without compromising project timelines or scope? The second question is, what strategies can Agile teams use to balance conflicting stakeholder demands? And the third question is, how does continuous prioritization impact project outcomes? And what best practices can address these risks? So by addressing these questions, we aim to bridge gaps in Agile requirements management and identify opportunities for improvement. We conducted a systematic literature review focusing on peer-reviewed articles from databases like IEEE Explore, ACM Digital Library, and Science Direct. And using thematic analysis, we identified patterns in Agile requirements management, including evolving requirements, stakeholder collaboration, and prioritization strategies. And in our research, we identified three key themes that are central to managing requirements in Agile development: prioritization, stakeholder involvement, and continuous adaptation. So prioritization is critical in Agile as it ensures that the highest value requirements are addressed first while balancing feasibility and resource constraints. Frameworks like the Moscow method, which categorizes requirements as must have, should have, could have, and won't have, and the Kano model, which focuses on customer satisfaction, plays a vital role in structuring priorities. However, Agile's iterative approach often involves frequent reprioritization. And while this flexibility allows teams to adapt to new information and changing customer needs, it can also strain resources, lead to inefficiencies, and sometimes cause delays if priorities shift too frequently without proper evaluation. Stakeholder involvement is another cornerstone of Agile development. Agile's emphasis on continuous feedback loops ensures that the development aligns closely with business goals and customer expectations. Stakeholders are involved throughout the life cycle from sprint planning to reviews, which fosters transparency and relevance. However, this high level of involvement also introduces some challenges. Conflicting stakeholder interests can lead to fragmented requirements or shifts in project direction, making it difficult to maintain a cohesive vision. And agile teams must navigate these conflicts carefully to ensure that all voices are heard while keeping the project on track. And lastly, continuous adaptation is probably the most defining feature of Agile. By design, Agile thrives on adaptability, allowing teams to respond quickly to changes in requirements or market conditions. However, this adaptability also comes with risks, as frequent requirement changes can result in scope creep, where the project expands beyond its original boundaries, and this can disrupt timelines and resource allocation. Additionally, misalignment can occur when teams fail to effectively integrate changes into the larger project context. And agile teams leverage a variety of foundational tools and frameworks that form the backbone of effective requirements management. These tools not only facilitate collaboration and adaptability, but also ensure that the dynamic nature of agile deployment is effectively harnessed to deliver high value outcomes. So let's delve into two of the most essential tools, which are user stories and backlogs. So user stories are at the core of agile requirements management. And unlike traditional detailed specifications, user stories are concise, customer-focused descriptions that capture what a user needs and why. And this approach ensures that the development process remains centered around end user needs, promoting clarity and relevance. Backlogs play a pivotal role in organizing and prioritizing tasks. And there are two key types of backlogs in Agile, the product backlog and the sprint backlog. And the product backlog serves as a comprehensive prioritized list of all features, enhancements, and fixes needed for the project. And it is a central source of requirements, constantly evolving as the project progresses and new priorities emerge. The sprint backlog, on the other hand, is a subset of the product backlog. It focuses on specific tasks and goals for a particular iteration or sprint, providing the team with a clear direction for short-term execution. And managing backlogs effectively is crucial to Agile's adaptability. This is where automated tools like Jira, Azure, DevOps, and other backlog management platforms come into play. And these tools streamline the process by providing real-time updates, tracking changes, and offering visual representations such as Kanban boards or Gantt charts. So our research uncovered three significant trends in agile requirements management that are shaping how teams operate in today's dynamic development landscape. Each trend underscores the importance of balancing flexibility and structure in agile's environments. First, we see the increasing importance of managing dynamic requirements. Agile projects often involve rapidly changing needs driven by evolving customer demands, competitive market shifts, or unforeseen project challenges. This requires teams to engage in frequent reprioritization and backlog grooming. Second, stakeholder collaboration remains a cornerstone of Agile success. Agile's emphasis on continuous feedback means that stakeholders are actively engaged throughout the development lifecycle, where they can offer insights, clarify priorities, and ensure alignment with business goals. Tools such as Slack, Confluence, and other similar collaborative platforms have become invaluable in facilitating these processes. And finally, scope management emerges as a critical trend in Agile requirements management. Agile's flexibility allows for continuous adjustments of the scope, but without careful management, this can lead to scope creep, as mentioned before, where essentially uncontrolled changes disrupt timelines and strain resources. Techniques such as weighted shortest job first, also known as WSJF, have become popular for addressing this issue. And this method helps teams prioritize tasks based on their potential value and effort required, ensuring that high impact features are developed first. And while agile methodologies offer unmatched flexibility and responsiveness, they are not without significant challenges that teams must address to ensure project success. Agile's strength lies in its ability to adapt to change, but it is this flexibility that can create hurdles and require careful management and structured practices to overcome. So Agile, as mentioned before, thrives on evolving requirements. So for instance, as new features are prioritized, previously planned tasks may be delayed or abandoned altogether, leading to insufficiencies and potential gaps in the final deliverable. This constant flux necessitates practices like frequent backlog grooming and disciplined sprint planning to keep projects on track despite these disruptions. And Agile's emphasis on collaboration is sort of a double-edged sword. On one hand, continuous feedback ensures that the product remains aligned with business goals and customer expectations. However, on the other hand, it introduces the risk of inconsistent goals and fragmented requirements due to differing stakeholder priorities. For example, stakeholders from different departments may have conflicting demands, such as focusing on user experience versus optimizing backend performance. And these competing interests can make it challenging for teams to define a cohesive roadmap. And one of the most significant challenges in Agile is balancing adaptability with control over the project scope. So while Agile encourages incremental adjustments, it also opens the door to uncontrolled changes where requirements result in delays, resource strain, and potential budget overruns. So for example, if stakeholders continually introduce new features during development, it can extend timelines or compromise the quality of previously planned work. And techniques such as time-boxed iterations, WSJF prioritization, and well-defined sprint goals are essential strategies for maintaining focus and preventing scope creep while still accommodating the necessary changes to the project.
Okay. Here we will explore the key differences between agile methodologies and traditional models like waterfall. Traditional approaches like waterfall model are structured and linear. Here, the requirements are gathered comprehensively at the start of a project and remain largely unchanged throughout the development lifecycle. This upfront stability allows for detailed planning and predictable timelines, which is advantageous for projects with clear, unchanging goals or those in highly regulated environments. However, this rigidity hinders adaptation to new information in dynamic industries, causing misalignment. In contrast, Agile treats requirements as flexible, evolving documents, allowing teams to adapt to changes in stakeholder needs, market demands, or technological advancements without derailing the project. Agile's iterative cycles like sprints and Scrum enable teams to regularly reassess and reprioritize goals, keeping high-value tasks at the forefront. However, this adaptability requires disciplined scope management to avoid scope creep and project expansion beyond its initial objectives. Without clear management, teams risk delays and misaligned deliverables. And another key difference is stakeholder engagement. Traditional models typically involve stakeholders mainly during the initial planning phase and checkpoints, while Agile emphasizes ongoing stakeholder involvement throughout the development process. So, this continuous feedback enhances relevance but can lead to conflicting priorities and fragmented requirements if not managed effectively. Next slide, please. The key differences between traditional and agile requirements management lies in adaptability and stakeholder engagement. Traditional approaches like waterfall feature stable, predefined requirements document at the project's start. This upfront clarity provides a consistent development blueprint, offering high control and minimizing uncertainty during the project lifecycle. However, this rigidity makes traditional models less effective in responding to changes. Stakeholder engagement is limited to initial planning phase and post-development reviews, often resulting in products that meet initial specifications but may fail to align with stakeholders' evolving expectations. In contrast, agile methodologies embrace dynamism and adaptability, treating requirements as evolving living documents. Agile teams prioritize iterative development, reassessing and adjusting requirements at the start of each sprint, enhancing responsiveness to changes and aligning with real-time stakeholder needs and market conditions. Continuous stakeholder involvement in Agile ensures integrated feedback but brings challenges. Frequent reprioritization while maintaining relevance can cause resource strain and fragmented focus. So, without a disciplined scope management, Agile projects are at risk of scope creep, extending timelines and inflating costs. And another key difference is prioritization process. Traditional models use static hierarchical prioritization with little room for adaptation. On the other hand, Agile uses iterative value-driven approaches like Moscow or weighted shortest job first, allowing for more flexibility and responsiveness. Agile's flexibility delivers value quickly but needs balance to avoid overloading teams and maintaining long-term goals. Next slide, please. Here, our research uncovered significant gaps in Agile practices highlighting challenges in dynamic environments. First gap is the lack of comprehensive guidelines for managing evolving requirements. Agile thrives on adaptability and iteration, but this flexibility often comes without a standardized framework that teams can consistently rely on. So each agile team may interpret principles like backlog grooming and prioritization differently, leading to inconsistencies in how requirements are managed. This lack of standardization not only creates inefficiencies but also makes it difficult for teams, especially in large scale projects, to align their processes with broader organizational goals. The second major gap is limited strategies for balancing conflicting stakeholder demands. Agile's continuous involvement fosters alignment, but teams struggle to harmonize inputs from multiple stakeholders with unique priorities. So, without a clear strategy or tools to balance these conflicting demands, projects risk fragmentation, delays, resource misallocation, and products that fail to fully meet any stakeholders' expectations. And the third gap is insufficient empirical research on the long term outcomes of continuous prioritization. Since Agile is known for its iterative nature, where requirements are revisited and reprioritized frequently. While this approach has clear benefits for responsiveness, there is limited data on how it impacts projects over time, particularly in terms of cost efficiency, team productivity, and customer satisfaction. Next slide, please. Here we proposed three emerging solutions to improve Agile requirements management. They are AI-driven tools, hybrid frameworks, and data-driven decision support systems. These enhance flexibility, efficiency, and decision-making while addressing scope, stakeholder, and prioritization challenges. First solution is adopting AI-driven tools, which automate the complex tasks like backlog management and sprint planning. For example, Zira Advanced Roadmaps uses AI to predict timelines, identify bottlenecks, and adjust resources. These tools enhance efficiency by reducing manual effort and providing real-time insights. AI analyzes historical project patterns to forecast future risks, enabling teams to proactively address challenges before they impact the project. The second solution is implementing hybrid frameworks. Blending Agile's adaptability with Waterfall's linear structure, ideal for large-scale or regulated projects needing flexibility and strict milestones as well. So a hybrid model might use Agile sprints within a stage gate process, aligning incremental progress with the long-term goals. So this integration ensures responsiveness to change while maintaining stability, which makes it an ideal choice for complex requirements or diverse stakeholder groups. And the final solution is the data-driven decision support systems. So using tools like Power BI and Tableau to visualize real-time projects metrics from backlog health to resource utilization and sprint progress. So these systems help teams to identify trends, evaluate the impact of requirement modifications, and ensure alignment with project goals by refining processes and adjustments to priorities. Next slide, please. Here we recommended several standardizing practices to address the challenges in Agile requirements management by leveraging advanced tools, refining prioritization, and considering organizational impacts to improve Agile's outcomes. Agile teams should standardize backlog management practices. So, a well maintained backlog ensures alignment of team members, prioritizes tasks by value and feasibility, and regular backlog grooming ensures smoother sprints. Additionally, implement structured feedback mechanisms like recurring sprint reviews, feedback loops, and retrospectives to streamline stakeholder collaboration, reduce conflicts, and manage evolving requirements effectively. And adopting collaborative platforms like Slack, Confluence, and Microsoft Teams provide seamless communication and enable cross-functional teams to enhance efficiency and decision making. AI-driven technologies such as Jira Advanced Roadmaps predicts risks, recommend adjustments, and automate routine tasks. These tools not only save time but also improve accuracy and optimize resource allocation, allowing teams to focus on high-impact work. AI-driven analytics helps Agile teams to anticipate bottlenecks and optimize workflows to address evolving requirements. So, for prioritization, we recommend adopting hybrid frameworks and value-driven approaches like Masco and weighted shortest job first techniques. So these hybrid frameworks combine Agile's flexibility along with traditional structured approach, managing both immediate needs and long-term goals. So the value-driven methods like Masco classify tasks like must have, should have, could have, and won't have, ensuring critical needs are met without overloading resources. So this disciplined approach to prioritization allows teams to adapt to changes while maintaining control over project scope and timelines. So finally, we highlighted the broader implications of these recommendations. So streamlined communication through collaborative tools improves better alignment among team members and stakeholders, while automation reduces manual effort, allowing teams to focus on delivering value. These practices not only improve efficiency, but also to minimize waste and enhance the relevance of the final product to the end users. Next slide, please.
Yeah, so the future research areas to explore are things like The long-term effort of agile practices, for example, how do agile practices sustain high productivity, customer satisfaction, large and complex? Gaps or lack of data on agile impact on team morale and stakeholders. There's some things like an integration of AI and agile tools, which is, I think, are one of our favorites. AI-driven prioritization models that dynamically adapt to changing requirements and things. And I think the challenge is to consider ethnical consideration and transparency, which can be a big legal factor. Another thing is development of hybrid models for large-scale projects. Large-scale projects often involve like multiple teams, departments, and stakeholders. Our focus areas are like combining structured traditional approaches, and some of our expected outcomes are scalability, adaptability to solutions tailored for diverse industry. Thank you. And our conclusion is there's key findings such as agile methodology to provide unmatched flexibility and responses to changing requirements. The iterative approach fosters continuous stakeholders engagement and alignment, and some of its effective solutions are best practice like backlog grooming, things like hybrid frameworks for a balanced approach. And I'd say there's tons of also takeaways like our agile teams must implement structured practices without compromising the flexibility, and call for action such as like focus on shareholders collaboration to ensure alignment and satisfaction. And some of our future innovation is agile methodology are not just a trend but a paradigm shift in software development. Thank you guys so much. And here these are some of my our references and our research.